Hi, this is Reverend Paul Slatkus. The U.S. Army chaplain celebrates 247 years. Wow. In July, building inner resilience, chaplains nurture the soul of the Army Reserve. And we're very fortunate to have this morning with us Chaplain Paul Schrader, officer in charge of the 116th Chaplain Detachment in Fort Lewis. Is that Washington, WA? Thank you very much, Chaplain Schrader. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here today.
Okay. Well, I'm obviously a believer in chaplains, being a reverend myself, and we're here in the New York area, and faith-based is a big part of course, my life, but part of so many people's lives. And tell us how that is working in the U.S. Army Reserves.
Yeah, sure. As a chaplain, we really take a holistic approach to caring for our soldiers and their families, and we understand really when your whole life is in balance, your physical, spiritual, and mental lives are all connected. And so as a chaplains, we do some core competencies. We nurture the living. We care for them. We care for the wounded, and we also honor those who have fallen. But we take a holistic approach. And as chaplains, we really focus on the spiritual aspect. And we believe if you have that in balance, then the rest of your life will follow suit.
And so a chaplain in the Army Reserve works with people of all faiths?
That's correct. Yeah, we're here to ensure the free exercise of religion for all our soldiers, no matter what background they are. Although we each have our own faith background and our own endorsers, so we either perform or provide what we can for the soldiers.
Okay, I understand that. I'm all faith and spiritual myself, but ordained. Do you need to be ordained to become a chaplain for the Army Reserve? Or do you help people become that?
Yeah, in order to be a chaplain, you have to be ordained or credentialed through some kind of a faith group, church or denomination, or depending on what your background is. But once you have that and you educationally qualified, we have a place for anyone who wants to work in this field.
Okay. Well, tell us some of the kinds of things. Many of the Army Reserve, I guess it's not a full-time position, is it? I mean, it's reserve come in, monthly. Is that so? So is it a little bit different? Do you have the opportunity to work, say, somebody within a marriage situation or other situations? How do you work with an Army Reserve person?
Yeah, so typically, vast majority of the Army Reserve are part-time. So,
right.
Typically 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks during the year, and sometimes the schedules are a little bit different. But because of that, we make ourselves available pretty much any time for soldiers who need us. And so we do marriage counseling, we do family counseling, we do retreats for families and couples and even single soldiers. But we holistically reach out to the whole entire family and do what we can to work with them. Although, we primarily work with the service members when they're on duty, but we're also available anytime.
Well, overall, I guess in general, the service has some stress to it, right? Protecting our country and being, responsible and taking it respectfully and responsibly. How do you feel that affects some of the soldiers?
Well, yeah, I mean, stress is real. So whether it's service related or otherwise, it definitely affects every one of us. And so, in order to combat that, we provide, spiritual resources and services and counseling and whatever we can do to really walk alongside those who have been, facing life challenges. And so, but yeah, there are some particular challenges that all soldiers face, and so we're here to work with them through that process.
Okay. Do you have any examples of helping someone that you'd like to share?
Sure. Several years ago, I had a soldier who was in a pretty major crisis, and he was returning from some mental health treatment. I ended up having to meet him at an airport, drive him to his house, and I literally spent 2 days at his house, sleeping there, making sure that he was cared for and safe until we can get him to a next level of care. And so spent a lot of time with him. And fortunately, I was there, and the command allowed me to do that. And he's doing well these days, and he's retired and living a pretty full life.
Well, there's definitely one reality about being a chaplain or a faith-based person. It's a two-way street. We gain a tremendous amount of, I guess, self-respect, maybe pride, when you help somebody. Haven't you felt that over the years? Have you been doing this for a long time?
Well, I've been in the chaplain corps for about 12 years now. I've been a pastor for 22 years probably now, and so yeah, I've been out a day or two.
Where were you a pastor at?
Yeah, I've been a pastor with the Evangelical Free Church, recently in Duluth, but I've served at Baptist churches and independent churches and in Evangelical Free churches as well. So,
What, if you don't mind, what was your desire initially to become a pastor?
Well, I felt a calling from God as a young boy when a missionary came to our church and shared what they were doing. I just sensed that God was calling me into ministry, and so that stayed with me from probably the age of 8, I would believe, until I finally joined or became a pastor at the age of about 28.
Wow. Okay, that's beautiful. And what do you suggest for people who want to go into becoming a pastor, reverend, and so on and so forth? What do you suggest for them?
Well, I suggest, particularly if you're a Christian, I would suggest, spending time in the Word and praying and seeking God, and then just living life and helping people and get some training. Go to school, go to seminary if you want to. But really, just do it, and then pray that God will open the doors, and eventually, if He's called you, you will find a place in ministry.
So 247 years is not a little number. So would you say when did the Army Reserve start? 247 years ago?
I'm not exactly sure when the Army Reserve began. I mean, that would be a good question for the PAO. But I would tell you that, the Chaplain Corps was the second organization to be instituted in the Army, and it was so important that we've been there since even before the founding of the country. So we're pretty integral into the Army.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Just watch MASH.
That's right.
Let me ask one other question. So if somebody wants or is already a chaplain, you need to, if you want to join the Army Reserve and you are a chaplain, then when you go to join the Army Reserve, you say, I'm a chaplain, I'd like to be a chaplain. Is that a possible thing for somebody to do?
Yeah, if you're a pastor or a chaplain or a rabbi or imam, whatever, if you have the credentials, the experience, and the education, then you apply to the Army, and you go through the process. And as long as you are qualified, both physically and educationally, we bring you in and we put you to work as a chaplain, and we send you to military schools. But then you're a chaplain.
There you go. Okay, and are you, the Army Reserve normally is here in America, right? Or do they have deployment outside?
The Army Reserve is really to augment the active duty, and so we actually do have Army Reservists all over the world. But I would say the vast majority are in America. But we do get deployed outside the country on a regular basis, and that's kind of why we're here, is to just help the active duty service to fulfill their mission.
Well, I salute you. Thank you very much, Chaplain, for sharing these moments with us and the work you're doing. Thank you.
Well, God bless. Thank you for your time today.
God bless you. God bless you too.